I'm Marjorie Censor, Aerospace America's Editor-in-Chief. Each year, AIAA's technical and outreach committees craft our year in review, a roundup of a whole range of advances made over the course of 2025. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the themes that we explored in year in review and what's ahead for the industry. With me is Lesley Weitz, Chief of AIAA's Technical Activities Division, also a Chief Engineer in the MITRE Corp Center for Integrated Transportation. Thanks for being here. This was quite a year with a lot of advances, much to discuss. Lesley, let's go ahead and jump into some of the topics that really got our attention this year. The supersonic Concorde stopped flying, of course, 2 decades ago, but this year there's a real breakthrough in this area of research. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so the X-59, which is a partnership between NASA and Lockheed Martin to explore how to lessen the sonic boom through the aircraft design, so really making it more of a sonic thump. This will reduce the impact of overland flight with supersonic aircraft.
So supersonic flight describes speeds greater than Mach 1, but of course we're also seeing a lot of attention to hypersonic missiles, which can travel at speeds of Mach 5 or greater, and that's leading to a greater focus on missile defense. What should we watch in 2026 to learn more about the Golden Dome effort?
Part of the challenge with Golden Dome relative to the Iron Dome is just the sheer landmass that needs to be covered. That really requires the space domain to be a part of the solution, which adds even greater complexity on how to integrate all those systems, what sensing systems do you need, what intercept systems do you need. So a really challenging technical and systems integration problem.
Let's pivot to talk a little bit about rocket reusability. In 2025, we saw more companies and countries than ever turning to this. What should we watch ahead, and what do you think this means in terms of technological advances in this area?
I think reusable rockets means we're going to see more and more launches. So recently, the New Glenn, they demonstrated a launch and then controlled descent and capture, which was a great milestone for that launch vehicle. So I think we're going to see more and more countries starting to use reusable rockets as well. We're going to see more and more launches because of that. With more launches, there's opportunities for doing more experiments in technology and innovation development in space. However, with those more frequent launches, we have greater disruptions to the national airspace system, which requires new solutions to mitigate that effect.
And Lesley, it's not just the sheer number of launches we're seeing, right? It's also the number of satellites per launch. Could you talk a little bit about what's going on there?
Yeah, so we used to have large, complex satellites that needed dedicated launch platforms. Now we're moving to more satellite constellations. So some launches are occurring with more than 100 satellites being launched. And so that poses new design and mission planning challenges.
What are the risks there?
We're obviously increasing the number of objects that are in space that have to be tracked and planned. So in the year 2000, we had about 1,000 orbiting space objects. Today, we have more than 14,000, and we only expect that to increase from here.
It seems like an area where there's going to have to be some advances to address those challenges.
Absolutely, and this is an area that some of our technical committees are already dealing with.
Well, it certainly seems like space is getting crowded. We hear about 10,000 planned satellites from Starlink. We're seeing some early plans for manned commercial stations in orbit. How much more room is there?
Yeah, it's certainly a concern with more and more objects orbiting in low Earth orbit. So as part of that, the Federal Communications Commission recently implemented a rule. So within 5 years of the end of your mission, any FCC licensed spacecraft needs to deorbit. So NASA and several US-based commercial companies are developing the technologies and capabilities to start to clean up space debris.
Sounds like an area to watch for next year.
Absolutely.
We're expecting NASA's next Artemis mission to the moon in 2026, but 2025 was a really interesting year where we saw both commercial and international landers making it to our nearest neighbor. What does that tell us about the future of space exploration?
Well, first I want to highlight a really exciting achievement. Blue Ghost by Firefly Aerospace was the first successful commercial lunar lander, which is a great accomplishment. And this is really leading to new opportunities for commercial space exploration.
Lesley, thanks so much for joining me to discuss just a few of the stories from this year's Year in Review. There's a lot more to explore online. We hope our viewers will take a look at the full range of stories. I'm looking forward to seeing what we come up with next year, and next year's innovation starts right now.